Coming up on this week's episode, we're talking Bournemouth versus Liverpool, Newcastle and Arsenal, plus we've got more Wonders of White, a Who Am I from Liam, and a new quiz from myself. So let's get started. Hello and welcome to a new episode of View from the Sideline podcast. It's Chris here, and Liam is with me. Hello, Liam.
Hi, Chris. How you doing?
I'm all right. Yourself?
I'm just getting over a match of the day free weekend. Yeah.
A very quiet
Very
match.
quiet.
I did watch it. Very strange. I mean, it was just like watching the highlights online.
Yeah.
Who
knew that commentary mattered so much? It's just not the same, was it? I mean,
I was commentating in my head.
Yeah, same. I think I could do it. I think I could give it a go. But yeah, it was very, very strange. And I watched Match of the Day 2 as well, and it didn't get any easier. So very, very glad that they'll be back next week.
I was about to say, it's all back to normal next week. But yeah, I mean, since we last did a podcast, Chelsea have actually won 3 games in a row and have scored more goals than they had since the World Cup. So yeah, all going well this end.
Yeah, we're obviously the lucky charm. If we don't do a podcast, Chelsea play well. So
yeah, that's probably the same for our first talking point, Liverpool.
Yeah,
that would have. Obviously, we didn't do a podcast last week, so we didn't get to talk about the 7-0. Obviously against Liverpool and Man United, but it couldn't have been any different on Saturday. When I think everyone was really surprised because obviously how this fixture ended up sort of in September last year.
Yeah.
And then Liverpool coming off that 7-0 win and the inconsistency of Bournemouth. I don't think many would have put this down as one, Bournemouth winning, and 2, them keeping a clean sheet, because that's something that they've rarely done this season.
Very, very surprised, especially after the absolute berating that you gave them on the podcast last time.
Yes, I think they
Bournemouth have listened to you, and
yes.
They came out all guns blazing, and it worked for them.
I mean, when you look back at some of the live games that I've seen them play this season, it was like watching a completely different team. But it must make you think, as a Bournemouth fan, how can you play that well against Liverpool? I mean, Liverpool. Don't get me wrong, Liverpool dominated the chances and the possession, but I guess it's all about taking your chances. But it must be baffling to Bournemouth fans that they can, pick that sort of performance out of thin air, and when they've been so inconsistent for the season so far. I mean, when you look at the actual game itself, I mean, Liverpool had their chances, and you can't get a better chance than having a penalty. And I think most would have put their mortgage on Mo Salah putting that one away, but he obviously didn't have his mortgage on that game, and it's bizarre, really, wasn't it? The penalty, he hit it so hard and it just went so wide, and it's very unlike him.
Yeah, he's been in decent form well recently. For all that Liverpool have struggled this year, he seems to be the only one that's kept a little bit of consistency, I think. So for it to happen to him, it was quite surprising. But going back to, I know we mentioned Bournemouth's poor form the other week, and they have been slipping down the table over the weeks, but there have been quite a few games where they've been unlucky in the sense that they've really matched their opponent and could quite easily come away with stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like Bournemouth fans will think they're owed a slice of luck. I remember watching them against Leeds a month or so ago, where they lost 3-2. I think they were 2-0 up and they lost 3-2, and they would have been quite disappointed with that. But there's been quite a number of games where they've been really, really close to getting a good result and thrown it away in the last minute, or, the other team has come back from a couple of goals behind or something like that. So they will feel like this is owed, and this performance has been coming for a little while. But for Liverpool's sake, after the win against Manchester United, and really you're looking now and thinking 5-2 down in the Champions League, so probably not likely that they're going to get through, especially playing Madrid away from home. All your eggs have now got to be in the Premier League basket to get top 4 to get in the Champions League. It's same as a lot of other teams really this year. Same as Spurs really. It was the same as Chelsea until you beat Dortmund in the week. And yes, it was a very, very strange performance based on the fact that they've been in some decent form over the last couple of weeks. I mean, I set up, the 5-2 against Real Madrid aside, they've actually turned in some good performances, and they've gone from, I think they were level on points with Chelsea, and I think Villa at one point, sort of about a month or so ago, and now they've made a bit of a charge for the Champions League places. So I think they'll be really disappointed. It'll be interesting to see how they come back from it, because they've actually done quite well. When they've lost a game, they've done quite well to come back the next week, but it can only happen so often, I think. But yeah, on average, 9-1. So
yeah, I mean, yeah.
This season, but yeah, an aggregate score of 9-1 against them.
What was the fixture that got Scott Parker sacked, didn't it? Earlier on in the season. So, I like I said, I don't think many would have seen that. But when you look at the bottom of the table at the moment, obviously Bournemouth are in that sort of area. But I mean, only 3 points
so close
from 18th to 12th. So you've got Palace, Wolves, Forest, Everton, Leicester, and West Ham and Bournemouth. Leicester, West Ham, and Bournemouth all on 24. So Leicester are in real trouble. I mean, when you look at the form that they're in at the moment, but Southampton bottom on 22. Only 5 points between them and Crystal Palace in 12. So it's very, very close at the bottom. I mean, Villa are just above that, but you're on 35 points, so I think you're pretty much safe. But when you look at Bournemouth's fixtures coming up, they've got Villa at the weekend, I believe, at the weekend.
Yes, I think it is.
International break, so when they get back from the international break, they've got Fulham, Brighton, Leicester. So that's 3 games there where potentially they could get something, because they are at home to Fulham and Brighton and away to Leicester. After that, they've got Tottenham away, which, you never know. And then they play West Ham, Southampton and Leeds in a row. 3 teams also, fighting that down at the bottom. And their last game of the season is Everton away.
They're running. The last 4 games of the season are against teams that are around.
Well, they've got Chelsea and Man United in between that. I didn't list them because they're not in that. But, they've still got to play 7 or 8 games against teams in and around them.
Yeah.
Which is probably most likely for most of the teams down there. So it's going to be a very, very interesting. I still think, I think there's something in Southampton that's changed recently. And I think they can probably get out of it. I think Leeds, for me, are the ones I think at this moment in time look to me like they will probably go down. And then it's just literally a pick and mix of the rest, really. I mean,
I'm looking at the table now. Wolves are not out of it yet. They've had a couple of decent results. Obviously,
they played a game more. They played a game more than everyone, and Everton as well. 27. Everyone else on 26.
It takes a win from those teams on 26 games, and all of a sudden Wolves are looking at being, level on points with 18th again. So genuinely, I don't know which way this is going to go.
Goal difference is going to be such a huge thing as well. There's that thing that they say, the goal difference can give you that extra point, but it literally, at this point in time, looks like it is going to, it could save some of these teams. I mean, West Ham are -10, Leicester -7, Everton -18. I mean, Bournemouth have got by far the worst. So
Bournemouth and Forest are both on -26.
Yeah.
Not much better on 21. But yeah, so you're looking at that, you're looking at Leicester and West Ham and thinking maybe their defensive record will keep them up. But even Wolves are on -17, Palace now on -12. That's probably I mean, they'd be disappointed, obviously, to get drawn into it now. They were so far clear of it at the start of the season, but they've been on really poor form. I wouldn't put it out of question that Crystal Palace will get really suckered into this. I know they're 12th at the moment, but still only 3 points and poor form that they're on. I'm looking at West Ham thinking, they played quite well against us at the weekend. Probably fair for a draw. They maybe could have, they probably had the better chances. Obviously Bournemouth with a good win. Southampton, like you say, seem to have got a bit more grit, got a bit of luck at the weekend with Casemiro being sent off. So there's teams that you could expect to put a few results together and sort of climb right out of it in the space of 2 or 3 games. I don't really know anything. They've all won 6 or 7 games in a year. The only team that haven't is Leeds, and they've won 5. It's really, really close. I mean,
it is, yeah. It's going to be interesting.
I'm glad we're out of it though, because there was a stage when it was looking like we were going to be right in the mix with these teams under Gerrard. So for Emery to come in and to have pulled us away, I'd take 11th as long as we're, what are we now? So we're 8 points clear of 12th. So I will take that all day long.
Yeah, I mean, you're only 4 points off 7th, so it's all to play for. I mean, the league seems to be sort of separated out at the moment between the top 6, and then you've got 7th to 11th, and then 12th to 20th.
Yeah,
all seem to be in their own little mini league. But so let's move on to Newcastle. So they picked up a win at the weekend. They beat Wolves by 2-1. I mean, I thought the goalkeeper should have been sent off in that one, but that's for another day. So I think we're just going to talk about obviously where they are now. So obviously currently 5th, 4 points off 4th, but with 2 games in hand, and still going really strong. And sort of, midway through the season, they were really, on good form. They've lost a couple of games since, but that doesn't seem to have affected sort of their position in the league table. And, still only conceding 18 goals, which is by far the best in the league. So, still doing everything right anyhow, and it is, I think they could get it, I think they could get 4th. I mean, it really is going to depend on sort of Liverpool. I think although they did lose at the weekend, I think Liverpool could probably be their main rivals to get that 4th spot, because I think Tottenham are so inconsistent. There's something at Tottenham that just doesn't seem right at the moment. Obviously they went out of the FA Cup to Sheffield United and then out of the Champions League as well, but obviously they won at the weekend. But again, it's going to be really close for that maybe possibly 3rd and 4th spot, depending on what Man United are doing, because again, they don't, again, so hit and miss, but
yeah, I think,
but it's the way that they play Newcastle, and it's just very, very hard to break down.
Yeah.
And within a second, they're on the counter attack.
Yeah, he's got them working really, really hard, which I don't think they had for the previous manager. They seem to be a bit of a lazy team in the sense, they were quite slow in possession, but now it's very physical. They're strong, but they're fair and they win the ball back, and that's when they're at their most dangerous. And you forget they've lost the same amount of games as Arsenal this season. They've only lost 3 times. It means they're so hard to beat. So defensively, he's got them playing really, really solidly. Big part of that is obviously Trippier. He was the first signing that they made. He's sort of stuck with him at right back. We know what he can offer going forward at set pieces as well. So that's worked an absolute treat. Pope obviously in goal. Yes, probably should have been sent off, I think, at the weekend. But his performances throughout the season, you've got to say, probably, I think he would be my England number 1 at the moment, based on form. And then going forward, Almiron's been a massive plus point. I don't think anyone expected him to have scored as many as he has, so that's been a huge bonus for them, especially considering Isak has been out injured for months now, a majority of the season at least.
Yeah.
So you were looking when he got injured, where are the goals going to come from? But they've had someone to step up in his place. Took his goal well at the weekend as well, Almiron. It was a nice goal. And they just seem to consistently keep on going, whereas teams like Spurs, even United at times, I watched Spurs in midweek last week and they were awful considering they're chasing the game to get through. You know, one goal would have seen them level the tie and it was just as if they were 1-0 up and just trying to hold out. It wasn't a good performance. And going back to being lazy, that is exactly how they looked. They didn't look particularly quick. They didn't look sharp on the ball. They didn't look very physical. You know, they weren't breaking their neck to get in the box to try and get on the end of something. They weren't tracking back. It was just, boring football. So, it's been a great season for Newcastle, to be fair. I'm sure they're only going to keep going up as they buy more world-class players. Bruno had a great game as well at the weekend, and he's been a brilliant signing for them. It's just going to be a case now of if they can keep them, if there's going to be players
the momentum,
patient enough to wait for, I think it'll probably be 3 or 4 years before they're challenging properly for a title. But, you know, if they can keep going at this trajectory at the moment, then who's to say it's not next year or the year after? Because he's certainly done a wonderful job, and if they can take that jump again next year, they'll be there or thereabouts.
I think it is, you know, the contrast from what you got from Bruce to, you know, to Eddie Howe it's just miles apart, and you can definitely see it within the play that, like you said, that they're playing. And you look that, you know, they've had money to spend, but it's not like that they've gone out and spent 60, 70 million on one player, is it? That, you know, they've spread the sort of money that they've spent quite evenly over, you know, 4 or 5 different players. I mean, Bruno's, you know, he's got to be up there with possibly signing of the season. I don't know about you, but you know, the transformation he's made into that midfield is just unbelievable.
Yeah, almost like Joe Linton's a new signing because he's completely changed his position and is now a sort of box-to-box midfielder, whereas even when they moved him back into midfield originally, it was kind of like as an attacking midfielder. Now he's just doing everything. You know, he's everywhere. You can't really find position, but the energy that he brings into that midfield, it makes me wonder why more teams don't do it. You know, move a striker into midfield. United did it with Alan Smith, and it worked quite well for a bit. But yeah, he's just it's given him, I think, a new sense of belief. Really, you were looking at the players under Bruce; they didn't look like they believed they were going to go out and win games. And now I think you could probably believe that they're going to do well. So yeah, fair play to Howe for kind of instilling that attitude.
I think for him as well, Eddie Howe, this is, you know, it wasn't so much a huge step forward for him from obviously where he came, because obviously at the time, you know, we didn't really know what was going on with Newcastle. We knew that they had money, but they hadn't really spent a huge amount. They've obviously got a lot of faith in Eddie Howe, but for him as a manager, you know, this is doing, you know, wonders for his reputation. Because if they keep going the way that they're going, he's going to be classed as one of the top managers in the Premier League within the next 5 years. It wouldn't surprise me if he got, you know, a chance at one of the top jobs. I still think one day he'll be England manager.
Yeah, I think.
I think if obviously I don't really know what's going on with Southgate, but I think isn't he contracted up until after the Euros, Southgate, I think.
Yeah, I think he is.
I personally think whatever happens then, I think he'll step down, Southgate, and you know they'll be looking for someone, and I would assume that Eddie Howe's name is probably at the top of that list. I would have thought if they were compiling a list now, and they were looking for an English manager, you know, I think he would be their first choice. It was whether they could tempt him away, you know.
Yeah, and I don't know how it works with compensation either, to be honest. I don't know whether they can afford him. The FA probably can't afford a manager like the club can. But I don't know. I think if I'm Eddie Howe, we mentioned it last week, Chris. No English manager has won the Premier League. Maybe he could be the first to do it. I think he'd rather go for that before he takes over an international job. But I don't know. I mean, you could argue that winning the World Cup is more important than winning the Premier League, but the chances of doing both, I think he's got a better chance of winning the Premier League, staying at than winning the World Cup with England. But I mean, money talks, doesn't it? So if the FA can tempt him away, it will be interesting.
Do you see Gareth Southgate, when the England thing finishes for him, do you think he goes into club management? Do you think he would get a job?
He tried it before, didn't he? And
it didn't work out.
Wasn't very successful with Middlesbrough. I think he's had much more success the success that he did have with Middlesbrough was in cup competitions.
Yeah.
So I don't think he probably will go back to club management.
Do you think if he leaves the England job, or if he gets sacked or leave, I think he'll go either way. I think he'll think he's gone as far as he can. Do you see him then moving on to another national team, or do you think that would, because I just can't personally see him transitioning, because it's not like he was a regular club manager before.
No.
He got the England job. I mean, when he got the England job, I think there was, a lot of people were surprised because, a lot of the younger generation had probably never even heard of him.
Yeah.
So I think it just seems a weird transition to go from, I know he was a club manager once, but the gap between him doing that and then him taking the England job, I don't know. I can't see him going into club. I think there'll be teams out there that will try and get him, but it's whether he thinks that's right for him. Because in a way, you're almost with international management, it's like, this is going to sound really bad, but it's more like a part-time sort of job, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you are scouting week in, week out, so it's not like that you're not involved in football, but for the majority of the weeks in the year, you are watching football, aren't you?
Yeah.
To get to, it's not like that you've got the players there to train them every day. You get them, when they're on international duty in 2 weeks' time, aren't they?
Yeah.
And that's for a week. He gets them for a week, and within that week, he's got to play 2 games, and he probably trains with them 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
So I guess it's whether it works for him doing it day in, day out. But I don't know. I don't know where he would fit in with a club. I think he's done enough, as an England manager to probably get him another job around Europe somewhere. Maybe with a European nation.
Yeah, that's my thinking. People I think are going to look at, depending on what he achieves. I mean, if he goes on to win the Euros, maybe he'll stay on, or there might be big offers coming in if he decides to leave. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, we get to the semi-final of the Euros and come home. I think I would be looking, if I was a nation that maybe has historically done quite well, but I'm in a bit of a down patch at the moment. I'm thinking something like Belgium, perhaps. Or maybe I'm a nation that's sort of been up and coming, but hasn't quite, levels. I don't know, maybe like an Austria or Switzerland or someone like that, someone that wants to get a coach that will take them to that next level and has proven that they've done it, because essentially they're starting where England were when he took over.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, we weren't a good side, but I think they knew that we had a decent generation coming through. At the time probably would have been about 14 or 15 years old. So they knew that someone who had worked with those younger players, he'd been an England under-21 manager.
Yeah.
He knew them, so he could kind of shepherd them all through. And I think there's going to be a nation out there that sees that model and thinks, I want to do that with our nation's talent. He'll be the person to do it. So
I could see maybe United States, USA.
Yeah, because they're putting a lot of emphasis into their academies and things now. That would make sense. That I could see that move.
I was just started thinking about it, thinking, one job that I think he could do is the American job, and I think he'd do a good job there as well.
Yeah.
I think because he loves the younger player. He loves putting an underdog into that team and trying to get it to work.
Yeah.
I know that sometimes his choices are being criticised, but I always think with him it's sort of he knows what he's doing, and and to be fair, what he's got out of this generation of England players, I think is probably the best that he could probably have done, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because it's not like the England team of sort of, the noughties team really, when you think from like 2006 to 2012, where we probably had a world class sort of defence, midfield and striker at the time, and we just felt miserable. I think to myself, maybe if he had that team back then, who knows what he could have done with that team. But to be fair, I think a lot of managers out there could have won us something with that generation of players. I just think it was the wrong people in charge at the time. So I don't know how we've got on to talking about England.
Maybe Gareth Southgate will take over at Newcastle. Let's link it back.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we'll move on to Arsenal next. It's a painful one to talk about. It's kind of like they just don't seem. I thought this might have been a potential banana skin for them, and I thought Fulham might actually get something out of this game. And then sort of after about 45 minutes, I realised that they definitely were not going to get anything out of this game. As Odegaard scored the third goal, I was kind of like, this has not gone how I imagined it in my head. But I mean, I definitely don't think either of us called this one at the start of the season.
No.
That Arsenal would be 5 points clear with 11 games. I know it's still 11 games, but at this moment in time, it's just, they're not slipping up. I mean, what's it, 5 straight wins in the league now?
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not like that they're not scoring. I mean, they've scored 3, 3, 4, and 1 against Leicester, and then 4 against Villa. They're scoring lots of goals.
Yeah.
Not conceding that many at all. I think they've conceded 4 goals in those 5 games. And I just, there's something about them, isn't there, at the moment, that they've got a huge confidence when they're playing. And, when, they were heavily criticised last season, the season before, and it's almost like the board had a lot of faith in Arteta, because there was probably at least 2 or 3 times since he took over, I think, where he legitimately could have been sacked.
Yep.
And they held on, they held out. He obviously had a plan, and it really does look like this season that he's had free rein on transfers, and and the club as a whole, and it's just working. I mean, the 2 players that they signed in January have just slipped in like they've been playing for Arsenal for 5 years. I mean, Trossard scored, he assisted 3, didn't he, at the weekend?
Yep.
And Jorginho just looks like he's been an Arsenal. It never even looked like Jorginho was at Chelsea. Looks like he's been at Arsenal for the last 6 years, the way that he's playing. And everything is just working right for them at the moment.
And the scariest part is, looking at their team, all of their important players, all of the ones that have stood out this year, are under 25 years.
Yeah.
Ramsdale's 24, Odegaard 24, Saka is still, 21, Martinelli's the same, I think Saliba's still only 21, even Gabriel Jesus, he's been out injured for a while, but he's still only 25. Zinchenko is only 26. The only player I think that really has stood out for them at times that is actually over 25 is Granit Xhaka.
Yeah.
And they've got such a love-hate relationship with him. 1 minute they need to get rid of him and they're trying to cancel his contract. The next minute is their favourite player. So it's scary. If this is what they are now, it is scary how good they have the potential to be. You know, and Ben White, I didn't even mention Ben White. He's only 25 as well.
Saliba, 21 years old.
Yeah, it's
he's played like a veteran at centre back. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, so it's scary how good they've got in potential. And they've even got, players out on loan, like Balogun is meant to be, he was banging in goals.
He's scoring for fun, isn't he, for Reims at the moment?
Yeah, and he's got a chance of coming back. I mean, they bought Marquinhos. He's out on loan at the minute at Norwich, but they had high hopes for him. I don't think he's played that much at Norwich, but Nuno Tavares has been another one. We saw glimpses of what he could do when he played for Arsenal at the beginning of the season, or might have been last season. And he's been on loan at Marseille. He's not very old either. So, yeah, the future is looking very, very bright for them at the moment. And they played, obviously, the first half, they blew Fulham away, to be honest. Second half, Fulham did have a couple of chances to get back in, but it was game over.
They just controlled the game, didn't they, second half?
Yeah. Again, it's similar to what we were saying about Eddie Howe. He's turned players that were poor on form, even under his managerial reign. Xhaka the last couple of years hasn't been great, and he's now looking like one of the best centre midfielders in the league. So, yeah, he's just given them belief again. They look very, very dangerous going forward. They've got young, exciting talent, lots and lots of pace. Got wingers that like cutting inside, or even Trossard can kind of go either side, really. 3 great assists at the weekend. But they're getting into a routine. They sort of sit a little bit, win the ball in their third, and then they attack down the wings. And it's almost like watching Arsenal under Arsene Wenger. How many times did we see, Vieira win the ball in their own half, play it out to Pires, Lundberg, whoever, Henry in the middle, goal. And it's happening time and time again. Martinelli is going to be a world-class player. I'm convinced of it, if he's not already. Great. Obviously, had quite a while now, and he's sort of not, they've loaned him out a couple of times. It was a bit debatable whether it was going to make it, but this season, he's just gone to the next level. And having Ødegaard in the team, again, he was another one. He looked so great at such a young age. I remember Madrid signing him at 15, thinking he was going to be world class, the next Zidane, and then it all went a bit quiet, didn't it? But he's got belief back, and he is now fulfilling the potential that I think everybody thought he had. So, yeah, they've taken younger players and they're turning them out into what look like world class players. So fair play to them, and fair play to Arteta for managing to turn it around. But again, and I've said it every week, the Arsenal board stuck with him, and that's what
he did. Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, there was a few times I think that he could have been sacked, but like I said, he's obviously clearly got a vision in his head of what he could do at the club, and I mean, like you said, it's just all coming together. I mean, the players are performing on the pitch to a very high standard. I mean, they're definitely going to be in the Champions League next season, aren't they?
Yeah.
And it's now whether they can hold on and win the title.
They've got a shot at winning Europa as well. I mean, I watched them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, they played well against Sporting Lisbon.
It was a great game.
It was a good game. Just
really end to end. They sort of played into each other's strengths, and it just meant there was constant attacking on both sides. But they've got a real chance of getting through that. That's a good draw away from home, so they'll fancy their chances with that one.
They've obviously still got to play Liverpool away and Man City away, which are going to be the two key games for them. I mean, they play Chelsea and Newcastle as well. Newcastle away as well. And then their last 2 games of the season are away to Forest and home to Wolves. So, there are some potential, games that they could slip up. But I don't know. There's just something about them at the moment. I think even if they tried to get a draw out of a game, I think they could easily do it if they needed to. So
yeah, and I even think the way that Man City, well, not just Man City, other teams as well, even if Man City beat Arsenal, I can still see City slipping up on another game. So I can't see it being a case of, if Arsenal lose one, like Man City did in previous years when Liverpool were on their tail, just kept winning, didn't they? It was like in games, 20 games or something.
Well,
I can't see them doing that this year.
Their next game, Man City, is home to Liverpool.
Yeah,
in the Premier League the next game, so that's not until the 1st of April, so they don't play another league game now for 2-3 weeks because of the FA Cup and then the International. I mean, Man City, they've got very similar run-ins, to be fair, because they've both still got to play Chelsea and they've both still got to play Liverpool. I'd say Man City have probably got the easier run-in, I would say, because they don't have to play Newcastle. And they've still got to play Leeds, Everton, and Leicester and Southampton. And there's a few games there also against Brighton and Brentford and Fulham all away. They could potentially drop points as well. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting at the top and the bottom this season, which is a good, nice change.
I also like the fact that you've kind of glossed over that Chelsea are playing Man City and Liverpool and Man City and Arsenal in the coming week. Tough run-in for Chelsea, so I'm that 10th spot. I'm feeling confident.
Our next 3 games are all at home, so we've got Everton at home, Villa at home, and Liverpool at home.
You from the sideline derby is not far away.
Our last 2 games in the league though are City and Newcastle, so. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens there. But yeah, that's it for part 1. We'll be back in part 2 with some Wonders of White, a quiz and a Who Am I? Hello and welcome to part 2 of this week's podcast, and we're going to go into some Wonders of White. So Liam,
yeah,
we've literally spoken about them, but Arsenal and PSG are the only teams in Europe's top 10 leagues, I don't know what they class as top 10, with 3 players on 10 plus league goals this season. So Martinelli is on 12, Saka 10, Odegaard 10, bit different for PSG, Mbappe 19, Neymar 13 and Messi 13. So yeah, Martinelli, Saka, Odegaard are the new Mbappe, Neymar and Messi. is what I'm referring to. Casemiro is the first player to receive 2 red cards in a single Premier League season for Manchester United since which defender in 2013-2004 season? Can you have a guess?
Ooh. To be fair, I was going to go straight in for Roy Keane, but without knowing the dates, obviously. But 2013, 2014, got to be prime time for Phil Jones. I'm going for...
Not quite. It's Nemanja Vidic.
Oh, I thought he'd gone by then.
Liverpool have lost 2 consecutive Premier League matches against opponents starting the day at bottom of the table for the first time since 2010, when they lost to Wolves and West Ham.
Rough time for Liverpool.
Tough times. And there's one that you'll like. Look, Ollie Watkins has scored 4 in each of his last 4 Premier League games, the longest run by an Aston Villa player since...
Christian Benteke.
Nope.
Oh, surely it is.
It's in 1998.
Oh, so that'll be either Dwight York or Dion Dublin then.
It's Dwight York.
Yeah.
Weirdly, it says here that he scored 4 goals in 4 games between March and May in 1998. Oh, he did it twice. Sorry.
Oh.
He did it twice in 1998. He did it in March and in May.
Wow. He was
Get
good.
Him back.
He was good.
Get him back. Get him back. I don't think you can get him back now.
He keeps on applying for every single managerial role going, does Dwight York. I don't know if you've seen...
he lost his job, didn't he? He was managing in the A-League. He lost his job.
Yeah. And he's been very vocal about not getting another chance, I think. So
He was only there for like 7 games, wasn't he? I think. He was managing one of the new teams down there. So,
I just know that every time a role comes up, he applies for it and then moans that he doesn't get it. So, yeah.
There's a reason for that. Right. This week's quiz. Now let me explain.
Paper.
Let me explain. You probably don't need paper, but I'm going to need paper for this.
Okay.
So I've got 10 questions for you, and they have multiple answers per question. So there's basically there's more than one answer for each. Some have 9, some have 12, some have 6. I think one has 11. So you need to get, I hope this makes sense. So basically, throughout the whole 10 questions, you need to get at least 40 of these answers. Does that make sense?
Right, okay.
So, example, first question has 9 answers to it.
Yeah.
You can name me as many as you can. I'd say in about 30 seconds, or if you know all 9 within 30 seconds, that's great. But you can stop at 4, you can stop at 5. But just know that the questions do get a little bit harder.
Okay.
So you might know less towards the end than you do at the start.
Okay. Interesting. All right, let's do that.
And you need to get 40 in total.
Okay.
So obviously the more you get at the start, it'd probably be easier.
I'm
going to say you've got about 30 seconds for each.
Okay.
This is why I need paper, because I'm going to have to write down So I will if you say the name, I'll tell you if it's right or wrong. I'm not going to obviously wait until the end of the 30 seconds. So you need 40 in total.
Okay.
Which averages out 4 per question.
Cool.
But like I said, some questions are harder than others, and some questions only have 6 answers. So, we'll start. So, who are the 9 Argentina players that have either scored or assisted this season in the Premier League? Go.
God, I can't even think of an Argentinian now. Oh my God, this is awful, isn't it? I'm drawing a blank at any of them now.
It's the pressure.
It is the pressure. I'm trying to think of Argentinians. All I can think of is Brazilians at the minute, because like Anthony's Brazilian. And right, Emi Buendia.
Yes.
Lanzini?
No.
Oh God, he must have moved from West Ham. This is not a good start, is it?
10 seconds left.
Can't even think of the Argentinian national team. I'm going to have to stick on one there. That is awful.
Right. So, you say, who did you give me? Buendia.
Buendia. Oh, yeah.
Buendia is right. So we've got Marcus Sensi from Bournemouth. Alexis McAllister from Brighton.
Yeah.
Facundo Boyanetta from Brighton. Enzo Fernandez, Chelsea. Julian Alvarez, Man City. Garnacho, Man United. Lisandro Martinez, Man United. And Carlos Alcaraz, Southampton.
Yeah, okay. So there's a lot that I probably wouldn't have actually got there. I'm a bit disappointed at McAllister, but the rest.
So question 2 has 11 answers, and it's which 11 goalkeepers have worn the number 1 shirt for Aston Villa in the Premier League? Go.
David James.
Yes.
I'm going to go with Mark Bosnich.
Yes.
Thomas Sorensen.
Yeah.
Brad Friedel.
Yes.
Shay Given.
Yeah.
Brad Guzan.
Yeah.
Emi Martinez, but he's number 26. So
yeah.
Count. Yeah. That's not bad going. Who am I missing? Schmeichel. Peter Schmeichel.
Yeah.
Spink.
Yeah. 5 seconds.
Michael Oates.
Nope.
That'll do. That's not bad.
Then you got 9. I think you got 9.
I'm back on track with
that. So the 2 that you didn't get was Peter Enkelman. I mean, famous for the.
Let's not mention that, Chris.
Hang on, let me just track the book. Oh no, go on. And Tom Heaton was the other one.
Of course, yeah.
So you got 9 then. So you're on 10 in total after 2.
That's all right. I'm back in business.
Next one. So we're going to get a little bit harder. Who are Arsenal's 9 all-time highest goal scorers?
In the Premier League?
In the Premier League. No, not in the Premier League. Of all time.
Oh, of all time.
So, yeah.
3, 2, 1, go. Henry.
Yep.
Has got to be up there. Ian Wright has got to be up there. Bergkamp?
Nope.
Van Persie?
Yep.
This is tricky now. I'm trying to think back to Arsenal players of old. Aubameyang?
Nope.
Totally different.
5 seconds.
Giroud?
Nope.
Go on and pass.
And that's time's out. I'd be honest with you, I would not have got the other ones. The ones that you missed were Cliff Baston, John Radford, Jimmy Bryan, Ted Drake, Doug Lishman, and Joe Holm.
Yeah.
You've got the 3. The 3 that you said were the 3 that I would have expected you to get. And they've all scored between 228 and 125 goals. So you are on 13 after 3, so you are 1 ahead of the average needed.
This is tense. It's very tense.
Okay, the next one is, so this is a 6 one. This is probably going to be hard. This is probably one of the hard ones. So who are the 6 oldest players to play in the Premier League for Chelsea? Go.
Bloody hell. Thiago Silva.
Yep.
Are they outfield players or goalkeepers?
2 are goalkeepers.
Ilario.
No.
Really? Czech?
No.
Dennis Wise?
No.
What is it? Gary Cahill?
No.
John Terry?
No.
Not John Terry?
No.
Christ.
I'll give you a clue. It's 37 and above.
God.
One of them was 41.
Ed DeGuy?
Nope. What a name though. What a name.
I'm struggling to think of any of the goalkeepers now. Kevin Hitchcock, he was old, wasn't he?
No.
No. I'm lost.
10 seconds.
Still got 10 seconds. Okay. Graham Lasso?
No.
He was quite old. Riali?
Oh. 5 seconds, longest 10 seconds ever.
Yeah, I'm going to give up on that one.
Okay, so going in age order, 41 was Mark Schwarzer. 38 was Willie Caballero. I mean, Willie Caballero was almost 39 at the time. Thiago Silva was the one you got. Graham Ricks, Glenn Hoddle, and Drogba.
Drogba.
When Drogba came back, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one. Who were the 6 players at the 2022 FIFA World Cup finals that are played for Fulham this season? Go.
And Andres Pereira? In the Brazil side?
Nope.
Willian?
Nope.
Mitrovic?
Yeah.
Leno?
Nope.
God. Polina?
Yep.
Oh, God. Who else have they got? Tim Ream must have been for United.
Tim Ream, yeah.
Yeah. What's it, Anthony Robinson? Is he Welsh?
He is one. He's US, yeah. 2 more.
Oh God, I don't know. I'm drawing a blank on the rest of the Fulham players now.
Got 10 seconds and they're both Welsh.
Oh, they're both Welsh. That's okay. No, I'm gonna leave it there.
It was Dan James and Harry Wilson.
Yeah, of course it was.
Okay, I've actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 2, 3, 4. So question 6.
How many did I get on that last one?
4.
Okay, so I'm behind by.
You're behind by 2.
Okay.
This is another 6 one. But this is probably easier with the fact that you can probably just shout random things out at me. So which 6 clubs were beaten by Manchester United in League Cup finals? Go.
Newcastle.
Yeah.
Leeds.
No.
Liverpool.
No.
Man City.
No.
Arsenal.
No.
I don't think they've beaten Villa. Villa? Have they beaten Villa?
Villa is one, yeah.
Oh. Chelsea.
No.
Fulham.
No.
Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. Sheffield Wednesday.
No.
Sheffield United.
No.
West Ham.
No.
Southampton.
Yeah.
West Brom.
No.
Watford. Wolves.
No.
Everton.
10 seconds.
Everton. I said Everton.
No.
Leicester.
No.
Blackburn.
No. 5 seconds.
Spurs.
Yep, Spurs is one. Got one left.
Wolves.
No. Close.
I don't know.
It's over. It was Wigan. Wigan was the last one.
That's not too bad. So that was 5 out of 6, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm back in it then. So I'm only one behind now.
Yep. So we're back to Premier League goals. So can you name me the 6 Nigerians that have scored Premier League goals or assisted this season? Go.
This season?
Yeah.
I was thinking back to Yakubu. God, Nigerians this season.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I can't. I have no idea. No idea who's in the Nigeria squad. And now my mind is completely blank of any Nigerian footballer that's playing in the Premier League. This is going to be a long 30 seconds, to be honest, mate. I have no... Alex Iwobi.
One, yeah. Well done.
That's a start. I don't know. I can't think of any other Nigerians. I'm going to have to leave it there.
Okay, so you had Iniacho, Awoniyi, God, I probably know that name, Forest, Emmanuel Dennis Forest, Aribo, Southampton, and Onyeka from Brentford.
Okay, so I either didn't know that they were Nigerian or didn't know them. So, fair enough.
Okay, this one's got 12 answers.
Right, big round needed.
Which 12 Israeli players have scored Premier League goals in Premier League history?
Oh, God.
Israel.
Ronnie Rosenthal.
Yep, one.
Benayoun.
Yep.
Oh, what's his name? I want to say Benabia, but he was Algerian, wasn't he? And it's the other one that I'm thinking of. Oh, flipping heck, what's his name? Ben Haim, anyway. I'm going to move on from him. Tal Ben Haim. There's got to have been a Cohen.
Yep.
Cohen that played, I'm sure there was.
Yeah, there was, yeah.
What, the guy that scored that amazing goal for Fulham, was he Israeli? Katimi?
No, he's not on the list.
Oh. Other Israeli players. Ben Sahar played for you for a bit. Did he score?
He never scored.
I was going to say.
I'll give you a clue. One of them's playing for Fulham at this moment in time.
Oh, Solomon.
Solomon, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, forgotten about him. It's really annoying me. There was like an attacking midfielder who I think he played for West Ham.
We might have.
His name's escaped me though.
I think he also played for Man City as well.
Yeah, he did play for Man City.
Yeah, he scored 17 goals in the Premier League.
Yeah, he did. Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Oh,
Berkovic. Oh, yeah, Berkovic.
I'll stop you there.
Yeah.
You ran off. To be fair, you've got Benayoun, Berkovic, Rosenthal, and Cohen, and pretty much they've scored the majority of the goals because everyone below that has scored 2 or less. Tomar Hemed.
Oh yeah.
Ipswich, I think. Beram Kiao.
No.
Walid Badir. Avi Nimi.
No.
Itai Shester.
No.
I think I've killed those names, to be fair. Right, you've got 2 questions left. And you need 10.
How many did I get on that one? Was that 6?
Oh, I think you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 6 on that one.
Okay. So
your Israeli knowledge is very good.
Better than I thought, yeah.
And I'll give you a little hint. The next 2 are clubs, not players.
Okay.
So this one is 9, and it's the clubs that have lost the most FA Cup semi-finals. Go.
Oh God. Newcastle, Villa.
Yes.
Of course, Villa are in there. Chelsea.
Yeah.
United.
Yeah.
Man City.
No.
No, because they're new money. Arsenal.
Nope.
I'm just trying to think of teams that have been to the semi-finals all the time. Who's been there? Spurs.
Yeah.
Nottingham Forest.
No.
Sunderland.
No.
Southampton.
No.
Portsmouth.
No.
Who am I missing?
10 seconds.
Leeds.
No.
Leeds, Leicester, Birmingham.
No.
Coventry.
No.
I'm just trying to go back all the teams that are near me when I'm back home. West Brom.
Yes.
Wolves.
5 seconds. No.
Stoke.
No.
Derby.
No. And time's up.
Okay.
You got 5.
Didn't do badly there.
So you missed Everton, Blackburn.
I missed Everton and Liverpool, didn't I?
Liverpool, and Sheffield Wednesday. If you wanted to know, Aston Villa is 10.
Oh, so at least we're not number 1. That's all right.
No, Everton are 13. So, yeah. Okay, last one. Now, this has only got 6 answers, but you need 5 to pass your test. It's quite easy, this, I'm not going to lie. So it's which 6 clubs have conceded the most Premier League goals in 2022?
Oh, so
Go.
Bournemouth?
Nope.
No? Oh, 2022?
Yeah, just yeah.
Oh, so it was the year before. Crap. Watford?
No.
Who got relegated? I can't even remember who got relegated now. Bugger it, I'll go with Villa again, why not?
No.
Everton?
Yes.
Southampton?
No. Oh, yes, sorry, yeah.
Not West Ham. Bournemouth? No, we said Bournemouth. Leeds?
Leeds, yeah.
Who else is down there? Palace?
No.
Leicester?
Yes. 10 seconds.
West Ham?
No.
No. West Brom? No. They didn't go down either. Oh, I can't think who came bottom now. Norwich?
No.
Oh, really? I was going to have to do it, I think. I think I'm all 1 short.
You're 1 short. You got 5 seconds. Both currently in the Premier League.
Oh, they're both currently in the Premier League?
Yeah.
Okay. Fulham, Brentford.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
I'd say you got that within about a second left.
Injury time equaliser.
I put some Fergie time on that one.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
The one that you missed were Wolves on that one. So Leeds 72, Southampton 70, Brentford 58, Everton 57, Leicester 56, and Wolves 55.
That was stressful.
There we go. So I've probably made that really stressful for you, haven't I?
It's stressful, but I enjoyed it.
Was it actually fun?
Yeah, it was. You know, when you hear the word Israeli come out of someone's mouth.
Yeah, I mean,
drop.
yeah.
But to get a decent answer on that question is quite some achievement from me. I'm very proud of that.
It was one of the ones you got most at, so maybe your Israeli knowledge is better than what you thought. But yeah, that was just a bit of fun. And a bit of stress for you.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to go lie down for a bit now.
I need a drink to recover. That's yeah.
But before that, you need to provide me with a who am I?
Yes, I do.
But please give me more time than 30 seconds.
Yeah, you got a nice relaxing who am I this week. So I'll do the usual order from where they started to where they finished. Retired.
Oh, they're retired. Was that? Sorry, did you say they're retired?
They are retired. Yes.
Right,
okay. So, first club is Platense.
Oh my God. I don't even know where that is.
No.
That could ruin it already.
Exactly why I went for this player. Because
I'm going to guess he's foreign.
I mean, he might be.
That's as most as I've got, I think, from that.
So, started his career at Platense, moved to Monaco, then to Juventus, then to Hercules, Banias. Hercules. Then Banias, and then River Plate, Newell's Old Boys, and then he ended his career at FC Pune City.
Oh my word.
So get your initial thoughts together, and if you feel like you need a clue, I can give you some clues I'll let you pick a team date or something like that.
He seems to have gone on a sort of an Argentina sort of, because I know River Plate and New Old Boys are Argentina, so that makes me think that Platense might be an Argentinian club.
Might be.
Which makes me think that he could be Argentina? He could be Argentina. I mean, he could be Argentinian. Goodness me. I guess Hume City sounds like an odd, because I think they're like Indians, so that would make me think that he ended his career in India.
He did.
Okay. Oh my God. And did you say a club called Banias?
Yes. Okay. Banias. I can tell you a bit about them without giving the game away. They're an Emirati sports club.
Right. So he's gone for money. Right. So hang on. He's gone money.
Yeah.
Towards the end of his career. I'm assuming this is sort of 4 or 5 years, at least. He's only got 2 or 3 years left in him by this chance.
Yeah.
Juventus and Monaco. Yeah, I'm gonna need a clue. I don't know why I'm not asking for one already.
I'm gonna give you two technically, because your first clue is that he's not Argentinian.
Brilliant. That's right. Okay.
And the second one, to be kind to you, I'm gonna say, I'll give you a choice. Do you want the club that he's most well known for, or do you want his nationality?
Oh.
I'll give you the stats of the club he's most well known for if you want that, or I'll give you his nationality and his international stats.
This is a tough one. Because you said Monaco and Juventus, and I would have thought that it would have been one of those two that he's probably played the most for. Hercules is a bit of a random one as well.
He has had
I'm going to go with Nation just because I would assume that he's probably played the most for Monaco or Juventus.
Okay, so what do you think his nationality is? Do you think it's Italian or French? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, I thought Argentinian until about 2 minutes ago when you told me he wasn't.
Well,
I have no clue. I literally have no clue.
He is in fact French.
He's French.
He is French. He played for the national team from 1998 to 2008. He played 71 games and he scored 34 goals.
Right, so he's a striker, and it's sort of my era of growing up. And it can't be Thierry Henry because you've not said Arsenal.
No, and I don't think Thierry Henry ever ended his career at FC Pune.
Yeah, I think that would have been a quite coup for them. There's only, I suppose this is me guessing that he is a striker. I mean, for those sorts of stats, 34. What did you say, 71?
71 games, 34 goals. So 1 in 2.
He was definitely at least two or three World Cups. I would assume.
He was at 1, 2, 3 World Cups.
Yeah, so he was at 3 World Cups. So I
just want to check if he scored in all of those 3.
If he was at the 1998 World Cup,
he was.
How many guesses do I? I suppose I really should only have one guess, shouldn't I?
I can try and, if you've got a question that you want answering.
The only French striker that I can think of around that time in my head right now is Trezeguet.
Is that your guess?
I'm just thinking because of the goals and Pune City. I think I just can't see it. But then River Plate and All Boys. But then Trezeguet, I know Trezeguet definitely played for Juventus. I'm not really too sure about Monaco. I am going to stick with my gut. I'm going to go because I can't. I've basically got Trezeguet stuck in my head now. And
fair enough.
Yeah, I'll go with my gut on this one, I think.
Well, your gut is correct. It is David Trezeguet, France legend, and clearly Pune City legend. So I didn't know this until fairly recently. So he was born in France, Trezeguet, but he actually grew up in Argentina.
Right, so he grew up there. Huh.
He grew up in Buenos Aires. His father, Jorge Trezeguet, is a former Argentinian footballer, and he's now his agent. And his mother's also Argentinian. I did not know this. I just thought he was French. So yeah, he played for Platense, who I think are an Argentinian club. I just sort of assumed they are. Yes, they're based in Buenos Aires. But he only played 5 games for them before moving to Monaco, where he scored 52 goals in 93 games, which is an astonishing record.
So I was right then, because I said he would have played most for either Monaco or Juventus.
Yeah.
I mean, he must have a lot of achievements towards his name, surely, because he would have.
Yeah. I mean, just his goal record, to be fair, is actually astonishing.
What is it? What's it at Juventus? What was?
So in all competitions this year, he got 171 in 320 games.
Damn,
which, considering they were relegated in that time and went down to Serie B, and he stuck with them. Obviously,
didn't they? To be fair,
scored quite a few goals in that league, and then they got promoted again, and he still carried on scoring. And then he moved to La Liga, where he played for Hercules. He got 12 goals.
That's very strange to go.
It was a strange move, yeah. He got 12 goals for them in that one season that he was with them before going to Banias, where he only played 4 games. And then River Plate, obviously, he's getting on a little bit by the time he gets there, but still 17 goals in 37 games.
Yeah.
And then 9 goals in 30 for Newell's Old Boys. Pune City, he managed 2 goals in 9 games, but I think by that point he was probably near.
He'd probably given it up by then, to be fair.
In terms of his actual honours, I mean, French champions, Italian champions twice. He won the Primera with River Plate, won the World Cup in 1998 and runner-up in 2006, sorry. Won the European Championship in 2000, obviously scored the winning goal, I think it was silver goal, wasn't it, back then? Or was it gold?
Yeah, it probably was, to be fair.
UEFA Team of the Year 2001, Serie A Footballer of the Year 2001, 2002, and also Foreign Footballer of the Year same year. He was a top goal scorer in Serie A, mentioned in the FIFA 100. Juventus greatest 11 of all time in 2017. Not bad, considering the amount of strikers that they've had. That's pretty good going when you think like the likes of Del Piero and people like that. And he's been given a Knight of the Legion of Honour in 1998. Don't know what particularly.
He didn't score in the final in 1998, did he?
He didn't, no. He
did actually play that much for them?
Well, he did score against Saudi Arabia in 1998 World Cup, but I was just looking at his international goals, and I don't think he scored in any other World Cup. He scored in qualifying for the 2006 World Cup, but other than that, I don't think he scored any of the World Cup goals. I suppose he will be on the ring at that point, and maybe Wiltor as well.
Yeah, I could have got, yeah. He was just stuck in my head. Cool. Well,
yeah.
That's a name from the past that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else?
Not this week.
So we will be back next week.